The following is a live presentation from Imagisport, where sports memories are created with a roll of the dice. Hello there, everybody, and welcome to this special presentation of Imagisport Game Day right here on the channel. Derek Jones here. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this today. Right now, I am pleased and honored to introduce to you Pro Wrestling Superstar 2.0, which has just been released today by John LeGrande. A little bit of background history on this game. John created the original version of Pro Wrestling Superstar back in October of 2003. It is a computerized version of that classic cards and dice game from the 1980s named the Superstar Pro Wrestling game. Full disclosure, I had that game growing up as a teenager and enjoyed it immensely. Spent many hours rolling the dice and playing it. And basically, it was just I would compare it to like a Stratomatic type version of professional wrestling. So each wrestler is represented with a card, and you used a pair of six-sided dice to determine the action, to determine who was on offense at a particular point in time, and also what moves they made. And as the match wore on, there were pin attempts and submission attempts, and sometimes there were even countouts to determine who won and who lost. So I discovered Pro Wrestling Superstar, the computer game, back in 2004 and instantly fell in love with it. As a matter of fact, for those of you who follow my old school wrestling episodes here on the channel, the original Old School Wrestling Association used Pro Wrestling Superstar as its game engine. And I also used real wrestlers from the 1980s and 90s as well in that federation. The federation lasted a relatively short time, about 15 months or so, but it was great. I know some of my posts, a lot of people enjoyed reading them. Back at that time period, wrestling was on a little bit of a downturn in real life, and so posts from myself and a few others that have played this game were a breath of fresh air for some of the old school wrestling fans that were out there at that time. No pun intended. Well, enough with that. Today I'm going to demonstrate to you Pro Wrestling Superstar 2.0, which is again the latest version of this game, which was made available today by John LeGrande. I helped him playtest the game along with about 8 other people or so throughout the past few weeks to make sure all the bugs were ironed out of it. So I'm just going to kind of run through it. Hopefully it won't last more than an hour, hopefully more closer towards the 30-minute range. We'll see what happens here. But I want to show you the interface because the interface is quite different than the original for those of you that have the original version or some of the later versions that came out of the game. But show you how it works, how to run a match, how to run a card, what the promotion manager is all about, and some different other aspects of it. So let's go ahead and go to my other screen here to show you the interface itself. So basically, for those of you familiar with the game, the menus that are up here are pretty much similar to what you may have already experienced. Like I said, there are a few new features that have been added to 2.0. But the most common things that you are going to be using in this game are going to be found right here whenever you first start up the game. So for those of you that might not be aware of how the game works, we're just going to go ahead and just run a match right now, just a simple match, just to show you again how the game works. Whenever you click on that, it'll take you into your match setup screen. And so from there, you'll get to determine what type of match you want, what type of a time limit, whether or not you want countouts. That's what this DQ enabled stands for. These 4 checkboxes right here, these are for basically your interaction with the game, so to speak. So if you want a dramatic pause, which means basically you're clicking to roll the dice for each wrestler, the computer will count the pins for you, count the countouts. It'll give you like a sound effect whenever you put a submission hold in. There are checkboxes if you want to go with the strategy pin chart. There was 2 different types of pin charts that came with the original board game. The basic chart, and then there was a more advanced chart. Right now we're going to use the basic pin chart for our games. We will go to the strategy pin chart a little bit later on. And then there's also a check mark if you want to create a triple threat or fatal four-way match. That was not part of the original game. It is something that John added to the game, but again, we'll take a look at how that works a little bit later on. So from here, you get to select, which wrestlers you want to have in your match. Now, the game, whenever you purchase the game itself and download it, will come with the original Promoter's Dream cards that were in the game. Now, like I said, you'll see a little bit later on how these cards were entered into the game. But for right now, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to pick two people from the set right here. So let's go ahead and pick, for instance, we're going to go ahead and just do a ladies match here with some homemade cards that I made. And we're going to go ahead and we'll have Liberty take on Ninjaya, okay, which were two wrestlers from my PAL set. Back whenever I first purchased the game and fell in love with it, I went ahead and created a set of cards based on the old Powerful Women of Wrestling promotion from the late 1980s and put that out there. But over time, I had a desire to kind of change some of the cards a little bit to make them look a little more reasonable than what some of them were when I originally created the game. So I'm in the process of putting out a PAL 2.0 set, which is what these cards are hopefully going to represent here. For those of you in the PWS community that are interested, I should have the PAL 2.0 set ready to go here in a short amount of time, and I will post in the usual like Facebook group and whatever when those are available, and I'll also give them to John so he can put them in a repository, which I will show you how that works a little bit later on. There is a checkbox beside each name that you put in the box here, and basically what that's going to do is that's going to allow you to either click on the dice to roll for the wrestler itself, or if you check in the checkbox, the computer will roll the dice for you. Right now we're just going to go manual, so I'm going to go ahead and click on Start Match right here. And so that's going to go ahead, and that is going to bring up not only the cards for each wrestler, but also you have the choice if you want to put an image in for each wrestler. I'll show you how to do that in the wrestler editor here in a little bit. Now, as you can see, there's a blank here because for the life of me, I was not able to find images for Ninjaya or Shanghai, which was our tag team partner back in the day. If anybody in the PWS community is watching this and they have an image of Ninjaya or Shanghai, please let me know because I would love to add it to my set here. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get this match started here. And again, I'm just clicking. The dice are being rolled in the background, but as the dice are rolling, you will see that it is highlighted. So you can see that this last dice roll I did here was a 12 for Liberty, and so a 3 for Ninjaya. So both of them are going off their offensive cards here. And each wrestler is going to have points for an offensive move that they do. And so those points will get accumulated on the scoreboard that's in the center of the screen. And so now Liberty has a power driver here, so she's going to attempt a pinfall. That's what the PA stands for on the card, and gets a 1 count out of it, and so we move on in action. You can also attempt pins if you are so far ahead of an opponent, and so that will come into play a little bit later on in the match. So as we go on to the 7th minute, now Ninjaya has her specialty, that is the martial arts, and she rolls a 9 there, but not enough for a pin attempt, so we're going to keep on going here with this match. All right, heading into minute number 9, and so Ninjaya gets a Pearl Harbor knee drop, and now she has a chance for a pin because she's ahead enough in points. So we're going to go ahead and see if she's going to get the pin here. And she does not, as Liberty kicks out at 2. So we will go ahead and move on here. But now we have a kick out of ring, and now this is a count out at 3. Now in the board game, 5, you have to roll 6. Below a 10 to not get counted out. And it looks like we rolled a 6. So Ninjaya gets 6 points, and we will move on here. Okay, nice suplex by Liberty here as we go into minute number 12. And another wrist lock here. Few amount of points here. So as you can see, basically you're rolling the dice to see which, and basically there's one set of dice for each wrestler, and then you can see, you roll once for offense, and then you roll again to see what move they make. Ninjaya is attempting another pin, but again, Liberty will kick out at 2. Now, sometimes you'll see there's a reverse on their defense card. So sometimes if you hit that, it'll basically reverse the action and put that defense wrestler on offense. All right, about halfway through our 30-minute time limit here. Still in Ninjaya with the better of the play here. Blatant Choke, we'll see if she'll get the pin here, and she does. All right, so Ninjaya wins our dark match here. So at this point, at the end of the match, you have a choice as to whether to put the match results in a database. Since this was a dark match, didn't really count for anything, I'm not going to do that here, but we will revisit the match results database a little bit later on today. All right, so that's how you run a single match here. And as you can see, these two wrestlers were wrestlers that I created myself with the wrestler editor. So the wrestler editor is going to be in this edit section right here. So when you open up the wrestler editor, you're going to see that if you want to make up your own wrestlers for the game, you basically, this is how you do it. There's different tabs that you have to work with. So basically, in the first tab here is your wrestler name and your submissions and stuff. And John even explains to you what each of these spaces are for, so that way you can kind of have an idea as to where to go with that. And you can also put in your own images as well. If you download some images and resize them to 100 by 100 pixels, you can browse and you can put them in here and have them matched up with your wrestler. But again, that's something that I believe you're going to have to do on your own. And then there's drop down, so you could put in what you want for the general card for your wrestler, like which roles should they get offense on, which roles should they get defense. If they're a tag team specialist or in tag teams, there's a chance for double teaming as well. That's what the OCTT stands for, and so you can place that once somewhere. Defensive card as well. Here's where you type in your moves, the point values, and whether or not you can have a pin attempt, a submission, a specialty hold, or there's a rope section for each card, and then also their specialty is right here as well. And then once you get done, you go ahead and you hit save, and then that'll be saved in to your computer in the wrestlers folder in the PWS directory whenever you are completed. Now, as I mentioned, there are hundreds of wrestlers that are already available for this game, and they're over here in the wrestler repository. So right here are all the sets that have been posted in the PWS community, including the original sets that came with the game. So some of the community members took the original cards that they had in these supersets 83, 84, 85, all the way up to 90, even the NWA superset and the deluxe edition that came with certain versions of the board game. All those were basically hand-coded in using the wrestler editor by various community members. And then, of course, like I said, other members made their own sets. And so basically, if you want wrestlers in a particular set, you go ahead and you click on whichever set that you want. And then you can either select certain wrestlers out of the set, or you can click on check all and take them all. And then once you have the wrestlers you want, click download selected wrestlers, and then they will be automatically downloaded and put in your wrestlers folder. So that way, whenever you go to run a match or create a card like I will be doing here in a few moments, those wrestlers will be there for you. If you ever want to look at somebody's card of a wrestler that you have, you can click on view wrestler right here, and then you can pick whichever wrestler you want. So let's say I want to look at Billy Jack Haynes' cards from the Promoter's Dream Edition. I'll pull it up, and there it is. There's his name. There are his stats and his ratings. And then you can see down here, that's from the Promoter's Dream edition of the game. All right. So that's basically how you create wrestlers and how you can download wrestlers that have already been created. Now, once you get a few matches under your belt, maybe you want to create your own promotion. And that's where this promotion manager comes into play as well. So you can actually create your own promotions for your organization. So, for example, I'm just going to do one just for demonstration purposes. So I'm going to call it the Demo Wrestling Federation. And I will give the short name of DWF. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And so basically, from here, what I can do then is I can pick my wrestlers who I want to add to my promotion. And so you can add single wrestlers, you can add tag teams and 6-man teams. I'll show you how the tag team and 6-man work here in just a moment. But let's say I want to put in guys like, for instance, Baron Von Raschke. I want to put in, let's say, Chris Adams. Let's say Crusher Blackwell. Let's say Gino Hernandez. And I can go on and on. But you get the idea. So once there, you just pick those, and when you click on Add to Promotion, and they're going to go ahead and they're going to get added over here. Now, over time, as you run matches and stuff like that, you will be able to add titles to your organization and also title histories. So you can add title changes and all that. So again, I believe this is something that is relatively new to the game. But then once you have that promotion set up, then I believe promotion has not been saved. So we're going to have to go down here, make sure you save promotion updates first, and then go ahead and you close the promotion manager window. Then if you want to go back to it, you can click on open promotion manager and open it back up, and then you can change or add wrestlers or different things like that. If you run multiple promotions and then you want to switch back and forth, that's where select current promotion and unset promotion, that's where those two buttons are going to come into play. If you want to name your tag teams, you can open the tag team editor over here on this side. So for example, let's say that I wanted Chris Adams and Gino Hernandez to be in a tag team. I can select their wrestlers over here, add them, and then I can give them the name that they used to go by in World Class, which was the Dynamic Duo. I can go ahead and type in this right here, and then I can click on Save. So now I'll hit load so that way you can show that now that's been saved along with some of the other tag teams that I've already saved. So you can also do 6-man tag teams as well. And so for that, I believe you can, so like for instance, if I want to do Freebirds with all 3 members, which would be Michael Hayes, Terry Gordy, and Buddy Roberts. So I can go Buddy Roberts up here, and then Michael Hayes right here, and then Terry Gordy right here. And first off, let's go ahead and clear that, and we'll add these guys in, and we'll say Freebirds here. I believe that should work to do just that. So we're going to go ahead and click Save, and then we'll click on Clear. We're going to click on Load. Yep, so if I go 6-man teams, there they are, Freebirds, Buddy Roberts, Michael Hayes, and Terry Gordy. And again, why that's important, you'll see whenever we set up other matches here. So I'm going to close out of this here, and now I'm going to go into the card feature, okay? Because now what you can do is once you get experience and you want to put some cards together, you can do that by opening up a card editor here and selecting new card. And so you can edit the particulars on it right here. You can give it a description, a location, a date, and a bell time. And then you can go ahead and you can add certain matches. And what that's going to do is that's going to go ahead and add different matches, and this is the same as the matchup setup screen that I showed you earlier. And so you can put your matches in there, and they'll be added to the card. I already have a card that is that I made for today, and so we're going to kind of go into that right now. And so from here, what you can do is you can run these matches pretty much in any order. So this first match that we're going to do is just going to be a standard match, just like we did before. This time it's going to be with 2 wrestlers from the Promoter's Dream Edition, Rick Martel against Barry Horowitz. So we're going to go ahead and run that match. And so by doing so, here we go. And for some reason, Rick Martel's picture did not load for me, but that's okay. We'll deal with that here a little bit later. Maybe I named him wrong. But anyway, again, this time I am again manually rolling the dice for both individuals. So right now, Martel is on the offense with an abdominal stretch. Here's the abdominal stretch. He puts it in, and then Barry Horowitz submitted from it. So basically what happened is each wrestler has a submission range, and the roll for Barry Horowitz went inside that submission range in order to quit the match. So Again, at the end, 4-minute mark, Barry Horowitz submits, and so you can basically go through the transcript right here. And then what you can also do as well is you can go ahead and you can select the match results database to add the match result. And then, so I have a match results database going right here. So I'm going to click on demo. I'm going to click update the match results. There we go. And so after doing that, we'll go into the match results database a little bit later on, and you'll see how that all comes into play. After you complete a match on the card, it gives you the result right underneath it after you have run the match. All right, let's go ahead and go into match number 2 for the card. Brandy May against the Syrian terrorist from my PAL 2.0 set. Again, regular match, DQ is enabled. But this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to, this time we're going to go ahead and we're going to use the strategy pin chart for this one so you can see how that works. So let's go ahead and ring the bell and start this match. All right, so here we go. The match has started. We're going to go ahead and roll the dice for everyone. And it looks like Syrian terrorist is going to the offense first. And so, oh, there's a choke on the top rope. So here we go. Terrorist with the upper hand, but Brandy May rolled her specialty, which is her farmer's boot maneuver. Gets 11 points out of it. So no pin attempt there for that. So here we go as we go into the 5th minute of the match. And again, like I said, you're going to roll for your offense and then you're going to roll for your moves, or whether or not you're able to block the move, or whether you absorb punishment. Every once in a while, you'll go into the rope section. Doesn't really happen too often. All right, so now what we have here is Brandy May was had enough. She had a pin attempt chance here. Now, on the basic chart, it would just go straight into a pin attempt. But because we're using the strategy pin chart, we have to make a choice. Do we want her to attempt the pin or not? Now, it's a little bit of a risk versus reward here because, as you can see, a lot of these are going to subtract values from her score. So right now, we're going to hit no. We're going to see if we can get her a few more points here to see if it might be a better chance of a pin low later on. But the Syrian terrorist will strap in the camel clutch, and Brandy May submits. So the Syrian terrorist actually wins the match via submission. So again, we're going to go ahead and put that in our match results database here. So basically, the demoed database has been updated. Before I click off of this, you'll know when you have a submission because there's an asterisk that will appear after the point value. And so after that asterisk appears, you go over to your sub rating here, and basically, if you roll between 2 and 4 here in this example, that's going to say I quit, and that's when the submission will take place. All right, so the Syrian terrorist wins with that. And now we're going to go ahead and show you how tag team matches work with a classic world-class matchup between the Freebirds and the Von Erichs. So basically, this one, we're going to take the strategy pin chart off this time and use the basic pin chart. Also, we'll leave it regular. We'll do 45-minute time limit this time, and you'll see why in just a moment. But what I'm going to do this time is I have all 4 of these check boxes checked in. We're going to have the computer roll the dice for us this time because it'll make this match go a little bit quicker. And you'll see what I'm talking about here whenever we get into it. So here we go, 45-minute time limit here between the Freebirds and the Von Erichs. Now, there are going to be some times where OCTT is rolled. And when that happens, is there going to be some double teaming? So either one team is going to have both wrestlers do maneuvers at the same time, or in certain instances, all 4 men are going to be in the ring at the same time, and they're each going to do an offensive maneuver. Now, when the double teaming or all 4 men in the ring occur, there's no pinfall attempts or submissions with that. But there is still a chance to get counted out. Right now, Kevin Von Erich is attempting a pin, and he gets it on Terry Gordy after the 10-minute mark. And so now we can see, and it was after some high-flying drop kicks. So basically what happened was Terry Gordy had the offense, but Kevin rolled reverse on his defensive card, came back with some drop kicks, and then got the pin. So there we go. So we'll go ahead and we will update that match result right there. And so our demo database has been updated. And so that's basically how tag matches work, is you pick your tag members. Now, if you roll the dice yourself, then you would also manually tag in and out your partners here. All right, so our next match is going to be a triple threat match. And this time, we will have a 45-minute time limit. There's no count out in a triple threat match. And that's where this check-in box comes into play right here. And so we've got Dusty Rhodes and Kevin Sullivan, and also Terry Funk is in the mix as well. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and run this and roll the dice ourselves here. Like I said, it doesn't really matter which ones you have in the ring to start out with, and doesn't really matter which teams they are as well, because only 2 out of the 3 wrestlers can be in action at any given moment. So we're going to go ahead and roll the dice here. And so Kevin's got his Game Master Gutbuster, and but now we're going to go ahead, and as you can see in a triple threat match, the wrestlers advance automatically. So after each move, a new wrestler will come in randomly. So right now it's Terry Funk and Dusty Rhodes going at it, and then you'll be able to see like who's on deck coming up for the next minute. So here we go in minute number 8 here, and it's Funk and Rhodes going at it. So like I said, Sullivan goes into backbreaker. Funk submits from that. Pretty surprising there. Awfully quick matches going on here in this demo. Not too bad from my account. So basically, Kevin Sullivan wins the triple threat match. So we're going to go ahead and click on demo, update those results. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and do some of the specialty matches that come with the game here. So like our first one's going to be a Russian chain match. No count out, no time limit. So basically how we dictated that was with this match type drop down. Now there have been some community members that have made their own matches. So basically there is now, I believe that, let me just, before we go on any further here, let me go ahead and save the card and see, but I believe that import matches from folder. Yeah, I think, I believe that in order to run matches, there's a special, I'm not familiar with the process for creating your own type of specialty matches for this game, but I know it's in the community somewhere, and there may even be some instructions on the Pro Wrestling Superstar website, which I'll show you in a few moments. But let's go ahead and let's do the Russian chain match, and again, this is going to be between Sting and Nikita Koloff. So, Sting's got it already. Scorpion Deathlock, and but it looks like Sting touches one corner, he touches 2. So that's different than a regular match, because remember, in a chain match, you have to touch all 4 corners of the ring to win. And so because we have that selected, the match transcript will adjust as well. So here we go, and we'll go ahead and roll some more minutes here. And so Sting reverses the clothesline and gets a NA for his trouble here. There's Nikita's. Pretty close match so far between the two. The other thing to watch out for is if somebody rolls an offensive maneuver that has XX at the end. because in a specialty match like this, whenever that happens, you roll the XX result. Then instead of reading the result off of the wrestler's card, again, you would go to the corresponding chart based on which match that you are running. In this case, it would be the Russian chain chart. At this point, I don't think we've had any XX rolls as of yet. And so, okay, so Singh, is he going to attempt the pin here? We'll say he does. So he touches one corner, two corners. Nope, he'll get 6 points for that. And we will move on. So King pummeling on the turnbuckle. Should he get another pin? Sure, why not? 1, 2. So he'll get 9 more points. And beating up Nikita pretty well here. There's the Scorpion Deathlock. You think Nikita would have a little bit of an easier time with the Russian chain match, but it doesn't seem to be going that way at this point. Okay, so here's what I'm talking about here. So we had Sting roll 6 on his offense card. So that brings us to the XX result for our Russian chain roll. So the Russian chain roll is mauling with the chain. So 24 points for that move. And so we're going to make another Russian chain roll, and he attacks with the chain. Figure at some point, he makes another Russian chain roll. 3 in a row. Now he's going to choke him with it. Boy, you would think that he would get a pin attempt at some point here, but it doesn't look like that is the case. But let's see how it transpires here. Oh, now we're here, and now we got the Scorpion Deathlock. And now, can he attempt the pin? Looks like he has Nikita worn down enough. Let's see if this will work for him this time. 1, 2, 3. Oh, no! Nikita recovered right before Sting was able to touch that 4th corner. So, all right, let's move on then and see if we can do that. There is no disqualification in a Russian chain match, so the throw out of the ring did absolutely nothing to give him some points. Okay, so let's see if Sting will end this here with the flying body press move. Nope, just 2 corners there. So we go on. All right, so we got the Viper lock in. And again, only being able to touch 2 corners. Need to touch all 4 to win this Russian chain match. 1, 2, 3. There we go. All 4 corners after the press slam. So Sting is your winner in the Russian chain match there. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we will upload these match results as well. All right, so before we get to our main event, which is going to be a steel cage match, and that's going to be Ric Flair against Magnum TA. So pretty much a couple of the features that I did not show you yet. These 2 matches up here, Battle Royal and New Tournament. Battle Royal was in the rules of the original game, and basically how that worked was you took like 10 or 20 wrestlers, and you put them together, you paired them up into a series of mini matches where I think you first one to like 15 points or something, tossed his opponent out of the ring. So this game can simulate that. I'm not going to do it here because it's going to take too long to set up and to actually go through the match. But after each mini match is over and wrestlers get eliminated, once it gets down to the final 2 wrestlers, then it acts like a regular match, with the exception that if you roll a move that has a DQ at the end of it, or if you roll ropes, then that is equivalent to throwing them over the top rope, and then the Battle Royal will end right there. Or it could also end on a pinfall or submission. You can also set up tournaments, so you can do single elimination tournaments. This would be good for a promotion if, for instance, you're trying to crown your first champion. So the Run New tournament would be right there as well. All right, so basically, I showed you the tag team editor. One thing I didn't show you yet is managerial. So we're going to do an extra match right here. So in this particular match, we're going to go ahead and we are going to let's see here. Who do I want to put in the ring? We're going to go ahead and put Ricky Steamboat. Steamboat was one of the have Ricky Steamboat go up against Arn Anderson. I don't have images for these two guys, but in Arn Anderson's corner is going to be the manager, J.J. Dillon. There were manager cards back in the day that went with this game that allowed you to do certain moves. So basically, so we'll kind of show you how that comes into play here. Hopefully the manager card will come into play. We'll see what happens. So let's go ahead and just start this quick impromptu match here between Ricky Steamboat and Arn Anderson. And we'll see if we can get a manager card roll to come up here. Okay, so here's Arn with a face breaker. Steamboat reverses it. And so Steamboat's... but here we go. Okay, so basically what happened here was Arn Anderson rolled a 9, which has an XX. So if you have a manager that is accompanying your wrestler, the XX means that we go to the manager card. So let's see what J.J. Dillon does here. He throttles in with a foreign object. So basically, Arn's attempting a pin from it. Oh, and he gets a 2 count. Ricky Steamboat kicks out of it. Okay. So now Double A is going to go with the Gourd Buster, and so he's going to go ahead. He's going to go for the pin with Steamboat still woozy from that foreign object earlier, but he manages to kick out. So we're going to go ahead and keep rolling here. This is a 30-minute time limit match, by the way. I didn't really do anything special there. And so, and again, here's the XX that comes into play. So again, J.J. Dillon's going to roll his manager card. But now, Ricky Steamboat is eligible to retaliate against J.J. Dillon. If the retaliation fails, Ricky Steamboat will lose any points scored for his offensive move. Does he want to retaliate against J.J. Dillon? Okay, because J.J. Dillon's trying to spray him. We're going to say yes, see what happens. I guess Arn's going to attempt the pin here. And he gets it. So it looks like Ricky was unable to retaliate. And J.J. Dillon coming into play with that mysterious substance. And so Arn Anderson is going to get your win here. All right. So basically we're going to go ahead and we're going to add that to the demo database as well. Because why not? Now, as far as being able to do a manager, let's see. I thought there was a manager editor somewhere in this, because I thought I ran into it before. But open wrestlers, open tag. Oh, here we are. Open manager editor. It's underneath the file menu. So here you can actually go ahead and create your own managers for the game. And again, it's self-explanatory. There's wording in there so that way you can understand what exactly you're rating and what you're doing. And you can even put it in a particular set if you want to. Then it'll be grouped with that set. And again, that is the manager editor. All right, so the only other thing that I need to show you before signing off here is going to be the match results database. But we'll do that at the end after we run our main event. And that is going to be a steel cage match between Ric Flair and Magnum TA. And again, no time limit, and we're going to use the strategy pin chart this time for our steel cage match. So going to go ahead and... we're going to go ahead and hit run, and here we go with the steel cage. And again, Flair, not sure why Flair's image didn't come up, but I will take care of that later. And it looks like Magnum TA makes the first steel cage roll with his double X, and he knocks the ref unconscious. Well, that's not going to work because now Ric Flair got all the points for that. So here's a spinning toe hold, but ref is incapacitated for 3 more rounds. It's not really going to matter. So there's nobody to call for a submission anyway. All right, referee's incapacitated for 1 more minute. All right, so now the referee's back in action here. So Magnum TA gets a forearm smash going here. Now Ric Flair makes a steel cage roll of his own. Again, notice the XX here. Running power slam onto the cage. So 12 points there for Slick Rick. The other thing that you'll notice here is that both wrestlers can be on the offensive card during the same minute. And so they could both have points if they want. Now, if they both roll DC, then they would just roll again because because obviously nothing would happen if they were both on defense. All right, the match is pretty much nip and tuck at this point. Nobody with a clear advantage as of yet here as we are rolling through this steel cage match. Magnuson is strapped in the sleeper hold, but Ric Flair does not submit. He can only submit if you roll a 2. So the chances of having Ric Flair give up on a submission pretty close to slim and none. So Ric's going to make another steel cage roll here. He grinds Magnum into the steel cage. Magnum retaliates, and with his belly-to-belly suplex, and yeah, he's going to go for the pin. He's going to get 1, 2, but no, Flair kicks out of it. So here we go with more of the steel cage match. Now, in the steel cage match, this is an old school steel cage match. So not only do you have to make the pin, but you have to escape the cage in order to win. And I'll show you how that plays out once we get a pinfall or submission here. Okay, figure 4 leg lock. So let's see if Magnum submits. He does. Okay. So there's a submission, all right? But again, once you do that in a steel cage match, you have to try to escape the cage. So Magnum TA has to roll to stop Ric Flair from escaping the cage. And so there's a certain range you have to roll. I can't remember offhand what it is. But it doesn't matter. Ric Flair climbs out of the cage, and so Ric Flair is going to be your winner of the steel cage match. So we're going to go ahead and update the match results right there. And so that's our card for this demonstration of Pro Wrestling Superstar 2.0. And let me go ahead and actually just save the card before I close it. Now let's go ahead and open the match results database so that way you can see how that looks. So pretty much what's happening here is that what we can do now is let's go ahead and view singles win-loss records. And so okay, that's for individuals. So, like, for instance, I can take a look at Ric Flair's record right here. And as you can see, the matches that I've run with him while demonstrating the program show up right here. If I want to view rankings, I can go to the View Singles rankings right here, and you can see everybody's single rankings within the database, wins, losses, draws, and that sort of thing. You can also do tag teams as well. So like here's the view the tag team rankings, and of course these are shown for you as well. And of course you can do single tag team rankings. So like for instance the Von Erichs. And so basically they won their match tonight, and so it shows you where it took place and also the finishing move that was used. So that's how the results database works. So that in a nutshell is Pro Wrestling Superstar 2.0. So now next question is, of course, how do you get this game? There is a website where you can get that, and that website is Pro Wrestling Superstar 2.0. So let me go ahead and take you there right now. So ProWrestlingSuperstar.com is the site for the game. So basically, if you go to ProWrestlingSuperstar.com, you will come up to this webpage right here, and basically just click Get Pro Wrestling Superstar, and you can purchase it for either Windows machine or Mac. And if you already have a Pro Wrestling Superstar and you want to upgrade to 2.0, you would use one of these upgrade settings, which is right here. Prices vary depending on whether you buy a new version or buy the upgrade, or if you were in John's early access program that he launched a few years back, you also can get a discount on it as well. So once again, the website's name, the website is Pro Wrestling Superstar, and the address for it is www.prowrestlingsuperstar.com. So that's going to do it for this demonstration. Thanks everyone for joining today. Coming up on the channel next week, sometime during the week of the 12th, we'll be back with History Maker Baseball and back with the Buffalo Bees. As mentioned before, the New England Minutemen are coming to Buffalo, and with them are coming two members from the Buffalo Bees in their run to the championship at 22 and also were members of the team last year. Joe Barkdahl and J.R. Keel are making their return to Buffalo, and we'll have game one of the Minutemen B Series here on Imagisport Live. And so the date and time for that is still to be determined. Depends on what my schedule is like next week. All right, so once again, from all of us here at Imagisport, thank you so much for watching today. Go on over to ProWrestlingSuperstar.com and purchase your copy of Pro Wrestling Superstar today. If you have any questions about it, there's a Pro Wrestling Superstar Facebook page. You can post questions there to John LeGrande. He is the developer. He is the developer of that game. All right. Once again, this was a demonstration and announcement for the brand new Pro Wrestling Superstar 2.0 that was released today. From all of us here at Imagisport, thanks again for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and most of all, keep on rolling. We'll see you later.